Alright, Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, by Hashem, YAHAWAH'S, by Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors be to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in the gospel abroad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, by Hashem, YAHAWAH'S, wherever it may be. Just the Aki Mahaloya, coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, by Hashem, YAHAWAH'S. Just a brief testimony and a few scriptures that I want to go into on how calling on the name of the Lord really works, and how this weekend that we've dealt with the brothers and we saw the chariots in Chicago, how that was a memory that will stick with the hopeful elect throughout eternity, because that's the Lord showing his power. And several testimonies that happened to me throughout that week while I was out there, including this morning and, matter of fact, last night on the way home, because as you know, it was a storm that was set to hit Chicago that was supposed to have been pretty bad. And it was pretty bad because I heard that my mother told me that it was going to be millions of people without power up until a week. That's how bad the storm was. And I didn't know, I wasn't aware of it until the last minute. But by me coming west towards Missouri, because, Chicago is east, Missouri is going west to Kansas City, I'm thinking that I can avoid it, for the most part. So I want to say I was driving for about 2.5 hours, and I decided to pull over to a rest stop, to use the washroom and get water and kind of stretch my legs and, do what I do. And I kid you not, it was just a normal day, right? So I go up in the rest stop, maybe 5-10 minutes, use the washroom, come out. All of a sudden, the winds are turbulent, meaning like it was just a shift in paradigm, like the temperature dropped within seconds. Okay, because when I went in there, it was pretty hot and muggy. It was about 90 degrees, muggy, hot. But as soon as I came foot out of that washroom and went back to my vehicle, the car, then all of a sudden, the temperatures dropped down to like the lower 70s, high 60s. And winds were just blowing out of nowhere. So I'm like, okay, it's a storm in the area. But I didn't think that I was going to run right into it because I hadn't checked the radar, I just thought it was going to be in the Chicagoland area. So I say in a matter of minutes, the wind picked up, 60-mile-an-hour wind. So what had happened was I sat in the vehicle for a minute. I'm like, I'm gonna let this thing ride out. So it appeared to rain a little bit. It got real dark, but it lifted within 10 minutes. It got lighter. So I was like, all right, I can try to chance it, because 9 times out of 10 it's gonna pass over me. I'm gonna end up going through it, or it's gonna go around me. So as I was driving down the highway, like to the point that it started pouring down. Crazy pouring down. And like the winds were crazy. I think they called it like straight line winds. It was up to 60-70 miles an hour. And that's enough to blow a vehicle off the highway. And on top of that, hydroplaning too, because the rains were coming in very extreme. So I'm like, damn, man, I'm like, I got to take my time and try to make it to the next exit. So I saw one exit, and then it cleared up a little bit. It stopped a little bit. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can pass through it. And then all of a sudden, I passed the exit. It got even harder. So like, oh shit! I'm like, I'm gonna have to pull over. I'm gonna have to get off this thing, because this is looking pretty bad. All right. So I want to say within 15-20 minutes of driving, I got off on the exit, went to the gas station and fill up, and I sat there for about 10 minutes for when it lightened up. So as it lightened up, I got back on the highway, and all of a sudden, it started coming down again, extra hard, intermittently, So I got to the point that I was passing through the storm, and it seems to be passed over me. Like the clouds, they were in the air, but they wasn't like, they were rain clouds, but it wasn't like, it was just overcast. They look like they, you can tell when it's getting ready to rain. By the time I got so far, it seems to be cool, though it was dark and cloudy, it wasn't really raining, but it started again. And it was to the point it got so bad, to the point I was like, man, I'm calling on the name of YAHAWAH'S, and I asked him to open up the heavens for me. But before I get to that part, I seen these weird phenomena, man, like these clouds. Like I really believe these were chariots, because this is my vehicle and I was on the road. So these clouds in the background, in the backdrop, they look like they're pretty far back, but in fact they were close, because as I was driving under it, I went directly under this cloud and I started taking pictures of it. I said, wait a minute, these are chariots, man. These look like chariots of YAHAWAH'S. These ain't no ordinary clouds, because if you paid attention to the storms we've been getting hit with recently, these clouds look rather different. Okay, it's more than water and gases, you know, and different gases that's in the heavens that's bringing about the rain. No, man, this is something else. And if you pay attention to how these particular clouds are formed, I'm like, these are the chariots of the Most High. So these chariots of the Lord were causing that storm, because I mean, that wind was crazy, man. I had to get off the highway because it was getting bad. But luckily the wind subsided, you know, enough for me to continue on my journey. All right. So as I was driving, I made it under these clouds, and I was like, okay, you know, good. You know, so as I made it a little further, it got dark again, and it started raining, like pouring down. And I prayed to YAHAWAH'S right before I crossed over to the border of Missouri to open up the heavens, man, and give me sunlight, because I said, look, man, I can't keep driving in this particular predicament. It's going to get dangerous. So I asked you in the name of YAHAWAH'S to open the heavens. I want to see the sunset on my way home. And I kid you not, right before I crossed into the border of Missouri, the Lord opened the heavens up, man. And I got the pictures to prove just that, you know, and it happened in a matter of 15, 20 minutes, because this was an ongoing storm. It kept going and it kept stopping. It kept going and kept stopping. And there wasn't no sign of it letting up. So I'm like, damn, I'm finna take the whole trip fucking in a damn storm, you know, and that can be potentially dangerous. You know, you can't see, people speeding past you. You know, I mean, it's raining, winds are 60 miles an hour. And I called on the name of the Lord, and he delivered me from it. But what stood out is that these chariots, these got to be chariots. If you just look at the way that these clouds are shaped, okay? As we know, the scripture said, the Lord have his way in the whirlwind. All right. And if you pay attention to these particular clouds, they look nothing more than chariots of the Most High. And I've always thought through the spirit that lightning and so forth was concentrated fire from the chariots, because as I was driving down the highway, you literally had lightning striking right on the side of me in these fields all around. I mean, I literally saw lightning hitting in these fields, man. I'm talking about 5-6 boats at a time all around. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy, you know. So pay attention to these different look at this, man. Look at these clouds. Those got to be chariots, man. You know, just watching over the hopeful elect. And the whole time the Lord had me, you know. But even then, I still, you know, said my prayers for the Lord to deliver me through it, because, you know, the scriptures say you don't want to tempt the Lord thy power. Because it could have been easy for me to pull over and wait it out. But, you know, it wasn't on my spirit. My spirit was to pray and get through it, you know, because the scriptures tell you about going through the storm. And that was a spiritual event. Because like I said, it was pretty dark, and you brothers can tell the way that these clouds look, that it was something going on out there. Okay, so there was a heavy phenomenon. And look at this right here. This is the one in particular that got me, because it looked like it's far back, but it really wasn't in the distance, you know. Looked like a big gigantic ship. And this one right here is basically the same as this one. It's just the other half of it, because I couldn't get the whole spectrum. But as I drove under that cloud, it got dark, and then that's when the rain came down on the other side of it. And the crazy part about it, it was just stagnant. It's pretty low, you know. I said, those got to be the ships. Those got to be the chariots, you know. What else can they be? Because look how strange they look, you know. They look different. Those don't look like ordinary rain clouds, you know. And this is a closer view of it. And you see how dark it is under there. It's like being under a force field or a ship. And that's what it felt like when I was going under it. The cloud was literally that low to the ground. I said, wow, that's amazing. So the spirit had me to take pictures of it. And kid you not, when I got on the other side of that cloud, and I believe it's a big ship, then all of a sudden the rain started getting heavier and heavier. And I called on the name of the Most High, hey, and he did what he did. See, pay attention to it. That's a strange looking thing. I've never seen a cloud that looked like that, so to speak. You know, at least not that low to the ground. But some brothers may have, but this is a little different from what I'm used to, you know, because this is out in the middle of nowhere. This is right in the middle of the interstate, so it's nothing out there. But look how low it is, you know, and this is the other side of it. I got another photo from the other side, because I was just driving and taking pictures. I'm like, yeah, that's cold-blooded. But these got to be chariots, man. I kid you not, man. I mean, people may beg to differ. They may say, oh, those just clouds. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But I'm sticking to mine, you know. I'm sticking to mine, you know, because that was just a crazy event. But the fact that the Lord does hear the prayer of his saints, okay, and we're going to get a couple of precepts on that. But this is when I call on the name of the Most High. And that was literally, I want to say about 15, 20 minutes after I departed from here, because it got extra dark. Like to the point it was dark as shit, man. And it was raining so hard, like you couldn't see the car in front of you. So when I sent up my prayers, 15 minutes later, the Lord brought the sunset. Because I prayed, I said, look, I want to be able to enjoy this ride home. I want to be able to see some sunlight, some sunset at least. And the Lord opened up the heavens for me, man. And it was so funny because to show you that the Lord has a sense of humor, because when he did it, the sun was right reflecting and beaming right into the vehicle. Like, what are the chances that the angle I was driving down the particular highway, and what are the chances that the sun was set to that particular peripheral to shine in the vehicle right on me? It was all in my face. Lord, like, you want sunlight? I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna blind your ass with it. Because I was sure hoping that it didn't rain the whole way, because I never made it home. I still been on the road trying to get there, because that's how bad it got. And if y'all don't believe me, you can look up that storm that hit Chicago last night. It was fucking bad, man. It was terrible. All right, and that's not even the only thing, because when the Lord lifted up the heavens, and this is the sunlight, it looked like it was more chariots out there, just the way the clouds form, which shows you that the Lord had heard the prayer of his saints, man. And it turned out to be a beautiful ride home. You know, because I always enjoy that ride, you know, coming from there to here. It's peaceful, you know, it's straightforward. It's not a hard drive. It's roughly 7.5 hours. It's not a bad drive at all, you know. Listen to some music, you know, and do what you need to do. It's pretty decent. But this is another part that stood out to me too, was those clouds right there that look like saucers, look like ships, man. You know, that's how I know that the Lord was dealing with the prayer that I had put up, because what are the chances he showed me things like that? And Salakia, that is blurry because I was driving, but that looked like a ship right there, man. Look at that. That's cold-blooded. That gotta be a ship. You know, look at that. Those are just not ordinary clouds. Those look like UFOs, or what Esau calls UFOs. Beautiful, man. Yapa. And the fact that the Lord showed us those chariots over the weekend, hey, man, the Lord was with us. He's proven that he's dealing with our sacrifice. Check this out. And once again, it's very blurry because I was trying to get it the best I can. But, hey, you brothers can tell this by looking that these ain't ordinary clouds. Those look like giant saucers, man. Look at that. You know, and they're very low to the ground because that's how huge they are. So the spirit just kept hopping on me to take pictures of these things, man, you know. So, hey, call all YAHAWAH'S. That was a hell of a testimony. I called on the name of the Lord and he opened the heavens. All right, so this is the book of Psalms 50 and 14. It says, offer unto the Most High thanksgiving and pay thy vows unto the Most High. We paying our vows by doing the work. All right, because, hey, we owe charity and we owe the Lord for going to the cross for us. We gotta, you know, we gotta bear our own cross, and we gotta sacrifice, doing the work. And it says, and I call upon and call upon me in the day of trouble, and I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. Okay, and that's what I'm doing. I'm glorifying YAHAWAH'S, because not the fact that I almost got into a wreck, but the fact that I could have wrecked. You know, the Lord could have totally took me off the road. You know, it could have easily been that way, but hey, YAHAWAH'S, he delivered me for it, and then he answered the prayer. Okay, so this is the book of Psalms 81, and I'm going to start at verses 7. It says, thou callest in trouble, and I delivered thee, and I answered thee in a secret place of thunder. Okay, and I proved thee at the waters of Meribah. All right, because you got to understand that the Lord, he deals with the angels of heaven. He deals with the chariots. Okay, and like I said, it was thundering and it was lightning out there, and it got very dark. The winds were very turbulent, and the rains were coming down hard. All right, so it was beautiful, man. You know, beautiful, beautiful. And hey, it turned out to be a glorious ride home. You know. So this is the book of Psalms 116, and I'm gonna start at verses 4. It says, then I call upon the name of the Lord. Matter of fact, let's start at verses 1. It says, I love the Lord because he hath heard my voice and my supplications, the prayers. Supplications are prayers. It says, because he hath inclined his ear unto me, therefore will I call upon him as long as I live. So these particular miracles and the phenomena that we've seen that the Lord has bestowed us to see, we ultimately remember those things, and increases our faith. So therefore, when we get into some ruckus, we call on the name of the Most High, because we know and believe he will deliver us from said perils. Okay? And it says here, like when Jonah was in the belly of the fish, hey, when he got sped up in Nineveh, okay, he was in hell, basically, you know, but the Lord delivered him from it. All right? But it says, because he hath inclined his ear unto me, therefore I will call upon him as long as I live. And the sorrows of death compassed me, and the pains of hell got hold upon me, and I found trouble and sorrow. Then I called upon the name of YAHAWAH'S. O Yahweh, I beseech thee, deliver my soul. And gracious is the Lord and righteous, yea, our God is merciful. And the Lord preserveth the simple, and I was brought low, and he helped me. Okay? So there you go, man. The Lord, he delivers. That's what YAHAWAH'S means, deliver. You know, and it says, and return unto thy rest, O my soul, for the Lord hath dealt bountiful with thee. For thou hast delivered my soul from death, and my eyes from tears, and my feet from falling. And I will walk before the Lord in the land of the living. Okay, so hey, like I said, man, that storm could have been deadly, because I know tons of people wrecked. You know, because people, they're not circumspect. People got real demons on them. They speed through these particular storms and stuff. They're not circumspect, and then when they end up on on the concrete barrier somewhere, heads knocked off and bodies totally decimated, then, you know, everybody's crying and wondering why, you know. But hey, YAHAWAH'S is a cold power, man. There's nothing to be taken for granted. All right, so I got a couple more precepts here, and then I'm gonna shut it down. Let me see, Bell and the Dragon. Yep, this is the book of Bell and the Dragon 1, and I'm gonna start at verses 30. It says, and now when the king saw that they had pressed him sore, being constrained, he delivered Daniel unto them, who was cast into the lion's den, where he was 6 days. And in the den there were 7 lions, which represents the completion. And they have given them every day 2 carcasses and 2 sheep, which they were not given to them, to the intent that they may devour Daniel. So they starved these animals, these lions out, because, you know, to the point they wanted him to kill him. Because the whole point of being thrown in the lion's den was if you wasn't worshiping Nebuchadnezzar, or if you was worshiping any god outside of the Babylonian king, they would throw you in the lion's den as a punishment. Okay, but look what happened. It says here, and now there was a jury, a prophet called Habakkuk, who had made pottage, all right, and had broken bread in a bowl, and was going into the field for to bring it to the reapers. But the angel of the Lord said unto Habakkuk, go, carry the dinner that thou hast into Babylon, and to Daniel, who was in the lion's den. So he was teleported from where he was to the Babylonian empire where Daniel was at, to feed him. And Habakkuk said, Lord, I never saw Babylon, neither do I know where the den is. So he didn't know. He's like, the hell, how I'm going to get there? And then the angel of the Lord took him by the crown, and bare him by the hair of his head, and through the vehemency of his spirit set him in Babylon over the den. Wow. And Habakkuk cried, saying, O Daniel, Daniel, take the dinner which the Most High have sent thee. And Daniel said, Thou hast remembered me, O power, neither hast thou forsaken them that seek thee and love thee. There you go. You know? So there you go, man. YAHAWAH'S is nothing he can't do. All right? And it says here, and Daniel said, Thou hast remembered me, O power, neither hast thou forsaken them that seek thee and love thee. So that's the key. So Daniel arose and did eat, and the angel of the Lord set Habakkuk in his own place again immediately. And upon the 7th day the king went to bewail Daniel, and when he came to the den, he looked in, and behold, Daniel was sitting, because the fact that he expected him to be devoured by the lions, because they were starved out. And then cried the king with a loud voice, saying, Great our Lord, power of Daniel, there is none other besides thee. And he drew him out, and cast those that were in the cause of his destruction into the den, and they were devoured in a moment before his face. Which proves the Lord deals with his servants, man. All because Daniel was found faithful unto the Most High. All right, but anyway, brothers, man, hopefully this was an uplifting testimony, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to YAHAWAH'S. And with that, shalom and a ball.